Well, I'm in beautiful Knoxville with my wife. I gave a talk at the East Tennessee Aquatic Association, which was a lot of fun. And then Sean from PECTEC, you can see him here. Sean from PECTEC suggested that I come over to Aquatic Marine. You can see it behind me there. And you know me, whenever I go anywhere, I like to stop and find a place, find a fish store and check it out. So let's go inside Aquatic Marine and see what they're all about. The store's been around at this location for a good number of years. Things like the koi yard and the fresh coat of paint and the new look on the glass and things like that were all added recently as part of a makeover that came with the new ownership that took over the store a few years ago. So everything inside looks crisp and new and fresh. So let's just go ahead and go inside. First thing you're greeted with is this beautiful saltwater setup. It's pristine, very, very tall. Just to the right of that, they have some plants for sale, along with some of these small packets of plants. You see those kind of plants more and more now. This tank just to the right of the plants is just a beautiful, completely circular, so you can walk around it and have a view from anywhere. Filtration, of course, is down the middle. In that middle column, it has some beautiful discus in it, along with an eel that I absolutely fell in love with. Just a beautiful guy, very interactive, apparently very, very peaceful. Doesn't give those beautiful discus any problems. Very, very cool. Tire track eel perhaps, but with some red in him. Just to the right of that, you get into the fish display racks and a lot of the common fish that you expect to see, like tetras, platies, live bears, things of that nature, are the first thing that you run into. Smaller fish, and we'll be getting to the much larger fish in a minute. Of course, they have the ever popular glowfish. I consider that sort of a segue fish, gets them in the hobby, and then they go up from there. The display tanks are a bow style, but not bowing from left to right, but from top to bottom. It was a little bit difficult to view it first, but once you get used to it, it's actually not that bad. Kenny, one of the folks who work at the shop part-time, kept apologizing about the condition of the tanks. They were a little short-handed because some of the personnel were at a local show. I thought the tanks looked great. Some of their platies were very, very pretty, very colorful. Some Buenos Aires tetras. You can see here the length of the rack. This is the rack just to the left of the one I just showed you. Some more plants for sale. In this tank here, Kenny wanted me to see this one particular fish, I believe. It's like a kind of a rare goby that's not for sale, just sort of a store pet. We'll see if we can find them. We'll come back to that. Some very pretty gouramis. You can see overall the fish health looks good. The prices seem fair. There he is. Very pretty fish. There's a couple of them in there. Apparently they're very rare and not for sale. Good selection of plants. Like a little bicher down there. Assortment of angels. Certainly some small fish. For those of you with a small tank, you would have a wide selection of fish. Those look some danios. Good selection of guppies. Somebody at the meeting was asking about guppies, but they do have a good selection of them here. Here's another tire track eel. Not sure if this one ends up with much color, but the pattern on him is beautiful. Look at these guys. These are a good size, 4 or 5 inches long. That is not a bristlenose pleco. They have the type of betta display that I really like seeing in shops, that is constantly supplying fresh water to the betta. So they're kept in heated, circulating water, and you can see they're in very, very good shape. Now we're getting into some of the bigger fish. You can see a Jack Dempsey in there. You have some like a blue Texas. Very pretty fish. Heard they can be very aggressive. And these like pacus, first cousin to the piranha. Really cool looking fish. And some severums going in here. This is Oscar. It almost looked like he had some yellow in his body. In the upper left-hand corner there. Type of vieja there with the dot by the back tail. That's I'm sure as it gets older, it would put on, get a lot more color. If it's anything like the vieja I have. Some cute fish here. Here's some of the more aggressive fish, jaguars. I think those are compared to the or in the same category as the red tear that I recently picked up. I was a little surprised to see a flowerhorn actually living with another fish. They're so notorious. He was in there with a much larger pike, but I did notice the pike had a few little marks on his body. Maybe the flowerhorn's been taking a few nibbles, but can't quite overwhelm him because he's so big. Very pretty flowerhorn. You know me, I love Salvini. Can't quite tell if this is a male or a female. Hasn't quite developed that red on the belly yet, or any color really in the body. Some convicts. Kind of like the guppy of the cichlid world. Maybe more like the rabbit of the cichlid world. More severums. Love these puffers. Not a bad price. Love that luminescence, that yellow-green color on the top of the body. Not sure if they play nice with other fish. I've considered rainbow fish and danios. Very peaceful, very active, as you can see here. Nobody's standing still or just drifting around. Nice tank full of tiger barbs. I think tiger barbs look great in groups. I could have spent probably an hour in this store walking around and checking out each tank in great detail. Some beautiful rainbows in here. Love that copper and red. Nice selection of goldfish. From your basic goldfish to your fancy. And I'd love this tank full of silver dollars and a gold som green tear, one of my favorite fish. I have the
the white tail, which is more what they call a true green tear, but the gold is beautiful. Look at this turtle. Not sure what type of turtle this is. Makes me think of a soft shell turtle, but he's really, really cute with that long nose. Very active. Look how healthy those clown loaches look. None of the fish in this tank are for sale. This is a display tank. They do have a significant saltwater section and some very nice coral tanks. Some tubs with live rock. This was a tank of coral, but the way it was lit, my camera didn't really pick it up, but I'll show you a tank in a second that had different lighting, and as a result you'll be able to see the corals and how pretty they are. They had some of these all-in-one tanks, really nice setups with the filters built in and lighting, everything included, so it's kind of a turnkey coral reef. Very nice idea. If I was to get into a coral reef, that would be the way I'd start. Look at another one here, coming in at probably $300 out the door by the time you add everything into it. It's a giant bow front. It's got to be about 200 to 300 gallons. Just a monster tank, very pretty. Nice selection of food, including Sarah, which you know I like a lot. Nice to see Sarah getting more and more market penetration. And also Shisei, I have Shisei pumps on my sump filters, and they are just beasts. I also have some of those sharks. They make good quality products. The product selection I thought was very, very strong. I'll show you some more of the things that they carried here. Pretty much the full line of Fritz, including some of their meds and water conditioners. Pretty much anything you could want, from filter socks to air pumps, filter media, Chem products like your Purigen. Just about every kind of substrate you can imagine, from gravel to sand to planted tank. Good artificial plant selection, nice selection of wood, all types of wood mixed in here, including spider wood, aragonite, carob sea, which I use in my larger tanks. I use aragonite to help buffer. For the African cichlids who need that higher pH, looks a little bit like that Mopani wood, very nice piece of wood. Coming in at about 50 bucks. Not cheap, but very, very pretty. Nice rock selection. You can go out there and find rocks on your own for sure, but kind of nice to have a shop where you can go and pick out some choice pieces. More samples of spider wood, driftwood. These woods are usually clean and ready to put in the tank. No guarantee that they'll stay down. Very often they float in the beginning. A little table here where you can play with different arrangements. So you can kind of set up how you think things you'd like it to look. Like a little test runner mock-up in more Mopani wood. And those Zoom Ed sells it at relatively inexpensive. Some nice little pleco caves. Look at this thing. Like a pleco pocket, like a pizza pocket. I haven't seen a pleco cave like that. Very cool though. Along with some of those breeding stacks, things like that. So, and a lot of the sort of miscellaneous plumbing parts that if you've ever done a plumbing project, which I've done several of them, nice to be able to have a source for odds and ends like that. Here's the tank I was mentioning earlier with the different kind of lighting that my camera was able to pick up. This tank has some soft corals that are just very, very pretty. I love what's growing on the back there. It's like a seagrass. Love the way it flows, and that nice electric green. Very, very pretty. Good selection of frozen products. I use frozen worms with my South and Central Americans, live bears, and my planted egg layer tank. I also use the frozen krill. They pretty much had it all here. And a rack dedicated to aquarium co-op products, which I thought was very cool.
I'm here with a couple folks that are affiliated and work in the shop. And this is, what is your name?
Angie.
Angie, and she is the wife of Kenny, who's one of the owners, and John. And John, who's been working with the shop for 2 years. So here they are, and I just want to tell you guys, I love the shop. Okay, I walked through it. I've been through a lot of shops. It's a good shop. It's a great shop, solid. Great selection of materials, good fish selection, and they've got the co-op stuff. And that's a big plus. They carry the Fritz, they carry the Sarah. They got all my favorite brands here. So, quick question: why would somebody in the Knoxville area? Why should they come to this shop?
Because we have the largest inventory of freshwater, saltwater fish, and we have a whole side of our store that is dry goods.
And we have the most dedication to customer service, so anytime you need help, there's always plenty of employees standing around to help you with any type of need. We do very different types of water testing, for saltwater to freshwater. We can get your salinity, anything like that you need. And we're just a happy family-go-lucky town here. And
we've recently started selling koi fish in our backyard. We have a whole pond section now.
That's right.
Excellent. I'll try and take a look at that before I go, if I can. And the shop's been here, you say, for 10 years before you bought it, but you bought it in
2019.
2019. Okay, and you've done a lot of renovations.
A lot of renovations. We've added a large amount of tanks, expanding the selection all the time.
Very, very good. All right. Well, I really enjoyed it, and I thank you for letting me invade your shop.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Thank you. So what do we have back here?
We've got about 4 tubs full of koi, and then 2 tubs in the back here with all different types of floating plants, and then a whole section here that's got all different types of lilies, aquatic plants that you can have outside in your ponds.
So was any of this here with the prior ownership?
No, this is actually set up probably about a month and a half ago or a little less, so it's fairly new. It's very fresh.
Very nice. I'm going to walk down and take a look at it. Now these are assorted Tennessee bred koi. Now these are the kind that get up to a couple feet, right?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. And $14 to $17?
Yes, sir.
That's not bad. And when they get large, they get very expensive, don't they?
Oh, yeah. You'll see. Yeah.
The floating plants. Is this a duckweed?
It has some duckweed. There is some smaller frog bit and stuff in there. We also have some pond snails that we will be selling out of here, plus mosquito fish.
Nice. These are Tennessee bred. More koi. These are a little bit larger, 24 to 35. Boy, here's the $119 ones, 8 to 10 inches. Very nice. And these are all DIY pump and tub type filtration. This is just a tub you can pick up at any hardware store. And you made these wood lids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then inside we have a moving bed.
Yeah, kind of like your basic bio ball, stuff like that too.
And then you got these like lava rock almost. And there's no sponge or cotton or floss.
Nope.
And why is that? Is there what is catching the detritus and waste? You don't worry about that?
We're not too worried about it for the most part, just because it's basically going into a koi system. So they're going to kind of be splashing it, moving it around. It's just going to get picked back up and go back in here where it can kind of get broken down further. And we constantly have, like we were talking about, rain. So every time we cover the pond, Rain will kind of go ahead and do a little bit of a water change for us sometimes. So
Nice.
as long as we keep the koi in, we're good. So.
Certainly a top off.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know here in Tennessee we get tropical storms, it seems like. Reminds me of Florida sometimes.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Well, I thank you for spending the time with me out here.
Oh, yes, sir. No problem.
And I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very cool. So that was Aquatic Marine. What do you think? Great selection, friendly service, good people, fair prices. You know, I just love visiting these local fish stores. Share your comments below. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed the quick walkthrough of Aquatic Marine. If you're in Knoxville, Tennessee, check them out. They've got a great selection. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on Saturday at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. That's Saturdays at 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And if you'd like to support the channel, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, hit that bell, subscribe, and consider becoming a member of the Garage Gang, a Patreon monthly supporter. Thank you, my friends. Bye-bye.